I'm Ray Dalio, I'm 76 years old, and I've never retired, and I never plan to. Everyone asks me, Ray, when are you going to retire? My answer is always the same. Never. And today I'm going to tell you why you should never retire either, because retirement is one of the biggest lies of the modern world. It makes you poor, unhappy, and sick. I know this goes against everything society teaches. Everyone is told to quit working at 65 and sit in the garden. But I've been in this business for 50 years. And what I've observed is this: people who retire either get sick, become depressed, or face financial difficulties within 5 years. Why? Because the human brain and body need constant development. The moment you stop, you start deteriorating. And retirement means stopping. I never stopped. At 76, I'm still creating new projects, making new investments, starting new companies, and this keeps me young, healthy, and wealthy. Let me explain why retirement is harmful. First, financial ruin. Retirement systems are going bankrupt. Social Security isn't enough. 401k plans aren't enough. Inflation erodes your savings. When you retire at 65, you'll live an average of 20-25 more years. During this time, you won't generate any income. You'll only spend your savings. This math doesn't work. Second, mental decline. The brain is like a muscle you don't use. When you retire, your mind rusts. Risk of Alzheimer's and dementia increases because you're not giving your mind constant new challenges. At 76, I'm doing complex financial analysis, developing new strategies. This keeps my brain young. Third, physical deterioration. When you're not active, the body ages rapidly. The movement and energy that work life provides disappears. Muscle mass decreases. Coordination deteriorates. Energy levels drop. I still go to work every day, attend meetings, travel. This keeps me physically active. Fourth, social isolation. Work life constitutes most of your social connections. When you retire, this network disappears. Loneliness and depression begin. Your friends also retire and withdraw to their homes. Social life becomes dull. At 76, I interact with hundreds of people daily. This keeps me vibrant and happy. Fifth, purposelessness. Humans live when they have purpose. Retirement takes away your purpose. What are you working for? What are you waking up for? What are you striving for? You can't find answers to these questions in retirement. I'm still trying to contribute to the world's economic development. I'm passing my knowledge to young people. This gives me a great sense of purpose. So what should you do? Instead of retirement, do reinvention. Reinvent yourself. Transform your career in your 50s and 60s, but don't end it. Do consulting, do mentoring, work part-time, start your own business, but never stop completely. Let me share specific examples of successful people who never retired and why it worked for them. Warren Buffett is 94 and still running Berkshire Hathaway. Charlie Munger worked until he was 99. Both remained sharp, wealthy, and influential until their final days. Why? Because they understood that retirement is intellectual suicide. Their minds stayed active, their networks remained strong, and their wealth continued growing. Compare this to the average retiree who sits at home watching television and slowly deteriorating. The difference is stark. Here's what I did instead of retiring. At 65, when most people retire, I transitioned. I stepped back from day-to-day operations at Bridgewater, but remained actively involved in strategy and mentoring. I started writing books, giving speeches, and advising governments on economic policy. I founded new initiatives focused on education and societal progress. My income didn't decrease, it increased. My influence didn't wane, it expanded. My satisfaction didn't diminish, it deepened. This is what I call strategic career evolution, not retirement. At 70, I launched new ventures, philanthropic initiatives, educational programs, research projects. Each new project brought fresh challenges, new learning, and continued growth. Most importantly, they kept me connected to purpose and progress. Now, at 76, I'm busier than many 40-year-olds, but in a different way. I work on what matters most, with people I choose, on projects I'm passionate about. This isn't work in the traditional sense, it's purposeful engagement with life. Let me address the common objections to never retiring. Objection 1. I'm tired and want to rest. Rest is important, But there's a difference between rest and retirement. Rest means taking breaks, vacations, reducing stress. Retirement means stopping productive activity altogether. You can rest without retiring. You can work less without working zero. The key is finding sustainable engagement, not complete. Disengagement. Objection 2. I want to enjoy life while I'm healthy. This assumes that work prevents enjoyment, which is only true if you hate your work. If your current job is miserable, change it. Don't quit working entirely. Find work you enjoy, reduce your hours, or shift to consulting. But don't eliminate productive activity because you think it's incompatible with enjoyment. Objection 3. I've earned the right to stop working. This is the most dangerous mindset because it treats work as purely negative. Yes, you've earned the right to choose your work, to work on your terms, to be selective about projects. But you haven't earned the right to vegetate. Your experience and wisdom are too valuable to waste. Objection 4. Retirement is normal and expected. Normal doesn't mean optimal. For most of human history, people worked until they died because stopping meant death. Only in the last 50 years has society created this artificial concept of stopping productive activity. While still healthy, it's a failed social experiment that's making people miserable. Here's my alternative framework. Instead of retirement, plan for career phases. Phase 1, building phase, ages 20-40. You're learning skills, building expertise, establishing yourself professionally. Work is demanding but educational. Phase 2, earning phase, ages 40-60. You're at peak performance, maximum income, highest responsibility. Work is intense but rewarding. Phase 3, legacy phase, ages 60-80 plus. You're sharing wisdom, mentoring others, working on meaningful projects. Work is selective but purposeful. Notice there's no stopping phase. Each phase has different characteristics, but all involve productive engagement. The work changes, the intensity changes, but the activity continues. This framework keeps you growing instead of declining. In the legacy phase, you have advantages younger workers don't possess. Wisdom from decades of experience. Networks built over lifetimes, financial, resources from previous phases. Freedom to choose projects based on passion, not just payment. These advantages make your 60s, 70s, and beyond potentially your most impactful decades, not your retirement decades. Let me give you the specific strategies for implementing this never retire philosophy. Strategy 1. Gradual transition, not abrupt stopping. Most people make retirement binary. They work full-time one day and stop completely the next. This shock to your system causes the problems I described. Instead, transition gradually over 2 to 3 years. Reduce from full-time to part-time, from employee to consultant, from manager to advisor. Your income might decrease, but it shouldn't disappear. Your engagement continues but becomes more selective. Strategy 2. Monetize your experience. Your decades of experience have value that younger people will pay for. Consulting, coaching, mentoring, speaking, writing. These activities can generate substantial income while keeping you intellectually engaged. I know executives earning more as consultants than they did as employees because their experience is rare and valuable. Strategy 3. Pursue passion projects with profit potential. What have you always wanted to do but never had time for? Writing, teaching, investing in startups, creating products. Your 60s and 70s are perfect for these pursuits because you have resources, experience, and freedom from financial pressure. Many successful businesses were started by people over 60. Strategy 4. Stay physically and mentally active. Schedule regular exercise, learn new skills, travel, engage with technology. The goal is to remain capable of productive work, not just able to sit on a couch. Physical and mental fitness are prerequisites for extended careers. Strategy 5. Build multiple income streams. Don't depend on a single source of income. Investments, consulting fees, speaking honoraria, book royalties, board positions. Multiple streams provide security and flexibility while keeping you engaged across different areas. Strategy 6. Maintain and expand your network. Your professional relationships are your greatest asset for extended career success. Stay connected, add value to others' projects, remain visible in your industry. Networks decay without maintenance, but they compound with consistent nurturing. Now let me address the financial reality of never retiring. Traditional retirement planning assumes you'll stop earning income and live off savings. This creates enormous pressure to accumulate massive nest eggs because your money has to last 20-30 years with no new income. The never retire approach changes this completely. If you continue earning even modest amounts, the pressure on your savings decreases dramatically. Let me show you the math. Traditional retirement, you need 25 times your annual expenses saved to retire safely. If you spend $100,000 per year, you need $2.5 million saved. This is the 4% withdrawal rule. Never retire approach, you need much less saved because you continue earning. If you can earn $30,000 annually through consulting, part-time work, or passive income, you only need to withdraw $70,000 from savings. At 4%, that requires only $1.75 million saved. You just reduced your savings requirement by $750,000 simply by continuing to earn modest income. Plus, your existing savings continue growing because you're withdrawing less. The compound effect is enormous. Over 20 years, this difference could mean millions more in your estate. But the financial benefits are just the beginning. The health benefits of staying engaged are massive. Studies show that people who retire have higher rates of depression, cognitive decline, and physical deterioration. People who continue working live longer stay healthier and report higher life satisfaction. The social benefits are equally important. Work provides structure, social interaction, and sense of purpose. Without these elements, many retirees struggle with isolation and meaninglessness. Your identity is partially built around your professional contributions. Removing that suddenly creates identity crisis. Here's what I recommend for different age groups. If you're in your 40s, start planning for career evolution, not career ending. Develop skills that will be valuable as a consultant or advisor. Build savings, but don't assume you'll stop earning at 65. If you're in your 50s, begin transitioning gradually. Reduce unnecessary stress and commitments, but maintain professional engagement. Start exploring what meaningful work looks like for your next phase. If you're in your 60s, redefine work rather than eliminating it. Find ways to contribute that energize rather than drain you. Use your experience to create value for others while maintaining income and purpose. Let me share some real examples of how this works in practice. Example 1. The consultant transformation. John was a senior executive at a Fortune 500 company. At 62, instead of retiring, he became an independent consultant to smaller companies who needed his expertise but couldn't afford a full-time executive of his caliber. His income actually increased by 40% because he could charge premium rates for his experience. He works 20 hours per week, chooses his clients, and travels less. He's happier, wealthier, and more fulfilled than when he was a full-time employee. Example 2. The educator transition. Sarah was a corporate lawyer for 30 years. At 58, she transitioned to teaching at a law school while maintaining a small private practice. Her total income decreased by about 25%, but her stress decreased by 75%. She's influencing the next generation of lawyers while staying intellectually engaged. She plans to continue this combination indefinitely. Example 3. The entrepreneur. Emergence. Michael spent 35 years in corporate marketing. At 65, he started a marketing consultancy focused on helping small businesses. His corporate experience gave him credibility that young marketers couldn't match. Within 2 years, his consultancy was generating more profit than his corporate salary. He works when he wants, with clients he chooses, on projects he finds meaningful. These aren't exceptional cases. They're examples of strategic career evolution that anyone can implement. The key is planning the transition before you need it, not after you're already retired and regretting it. Here are the specific steps to implement the Never Retire strategy. Step 1. Audit your current situation. What aspects of your current work energize you versus drain you? What would you want to continue doing indefinitely? What would you want to eliminate? This honest assessment guides your transition planning. Step 2. Identify your transferable value. What knowledge, skills, and experience do you possess that others would pay for? How can you package this value into consulting, teaching, or advisory services? Most people underestimate their value because they are too close to their own expertise. Step 3. Build transition bridges while still employed. Start networking in your target transition area. Take on projects that demonstrate your consulting potential. Build relationships that could become client relationships. Begin establishing your reputation in your new capacity before you need the income. Step 4. Test your transition gradually. Take on small consulting projects during vacation days or weekends. Teach a class at a local college. Write articles in your area of expertise. These activities help you understand what you enjoy and what markets exist for your services. Step 5. Create your transition timeline. Don't jump immediately from full-time employment to consulting. Plan a 2-3-year transition period. Perhaps go to part-time employment first, then independent consulting, then selective project work. Each phase builds on the previous one. Step 6. Establish multiple income streams during transition. Don't depend solely on consulting income. Combine it with part-time employment, investment income, perhaps teaching or writing. Multiple streams provide security and prevent over-reliance on any single source. The psychological aspects of this transition are as important as the financial ones. Many people define themselves by their job titles and company affiliations. Losing these can create identity crisis even when the financial transition is successful. Prepare mentally for this shift. Your identity should evolve from "I am a VP at company X" to "I am an expert in field Y who helps people achieve result Z." This reframing makes the transition empowering rather than diminishing. Another psychological challenge is the social pressure to retire. Friends and family may not understand your decision to keep working. They might worry that you're unable to let go or that you don't trust your financial planning. Be prepared to explain your philosophy and stand firm in your decision. Your future self will thank you. The biggest psychological benefit of never retiring is maintaining your sense of relevance and contribution. Retirement often creates a feeling that your productive years are over, that you're now a burden rather than a contributor. Continuing to work, even in reduced capacity, maintains your identity as someone who adds value to the world. Now, let me address the biggest objection I hear. What if my health fails and I can't continue working? This is a valid concern, but it actually supports my argument rather than undermining it. People who stay mentally and physically active through continued work maintain better health longer than those who retire. The key is adapting your work to your capabilities, not stopping work entirely. If physical demands become too much, shift to intellectual work. If travel becomes difficult, work remotely. If full-time becomes impossible, work part-time. The goal is continued engagement appropriate to your abilities, not maintaining the same intensity forever. I've seen too many healthy 65-year-olds retire and become unhealthy 70-year-olds from lack of engagement. The "what if I get sick" argument often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when people stop challenging themselves physically and mentally. Here's what the research tells us about never retiring. Studies from Harvard, Stanford, and other major universities consistently show that people who continue working past traditional retirement age live longer, stay healthier, and report higher life satisfaction than those who retire completely. The Japanese have a concept called ikigai, your reason for being. It's the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Retirement eliminates the "what you can be paid for" element, disrupting your ikigai and reducing life satisfaction. Okinawans, who have among the highest longevity in the world, don't even have a word for retirement. They work in some capacity throughout their lives, adapting their roles as they age but never stopping completely. This isn't coincidence, it's cause and effect. Let me give you my personal testimony. At 76, I'm healthier than most 60-year-olds. My cognitive function is sharp, my energy levels are high, my sense of purpose is strong, my financial position continues improving, my relationships remain vibrant. I attribute all of this to never retiring, never stopping my intellectual and professional growth. Compare this to my peers who retired at 65. Many are struggling with health issues, cognitive decline, financial stress, and depression. The difference isn't genetic or lucky, it's philosophical and strategic. I chose engagement over retirement, growth over stagnation, contribution over consumption. If you're approaching traditional retirement age, you face the same choice. You can follow the conventional path of stopping work, living off savings, and hoping your money and health last until you die. Or you can choose the unconventional path of evolving your career, maintaining income streams, and staying engaged with life until your final day. I know which path leads to a more fulfilling, healthier, and wealthier later life. The choice is yours, but choose consciously. Don't retire by default because it's expected. Don't retire because you think you should. Don't retire because others are doing it. Retire only if you genuinely want to stop being productive, stop learning, stop contributing. And if that's truly what you want, you might want to examine whether you've chosen the wrong career rather than whether it's time to stop working entirely. For those ready to embrace the never retire philosophy, start planning now. Don't wait until 65 to think about what comes next. Begin preparing your transition in your 50s. Build the skills, relationships, and financial foundation that will support continued engagement rather than complete retirement. The world needs your experience and wisdom. Your bank account needs your continued income. Your brain needs continued challenges. Your body needs purposeful activity. Your spirit needs meaningful contribution. Retirement eliminates all of these benefits. Continued engagement provides all of them. At 76, I'm not slowing down. I'm changing direction, choosing projects, and working on my terms, but I'm not stopping. And neither should you. The never retire life isn't about working forever in a job you hate. It's about transitioning to work you love, on terms you choose, for purposes that matter to you. It's about staying in the game rather than sitting in the stands. It's about writing your final chapters rather than just waiting for the book to end. That's not just a better way to age, it's a better way to live.